Kenneth "Kenny" Miller is a Scottish footballer who plays as a striker, who currently plays for Scottish Championship club Rangers. Miller is one of only 5 post-war players to have played for both Rangers and Celtic. He is known as a versatile and pacey striker who is skilled with headers and can play as a supporting or centre-forward. Miller began his career at Hibernian before moving on to Rangers, then to the English First Division side Wolverhampton Wanderers, where he won his first career honour, the 2003 First Division playoff final. After 5 seasons with Wolverhampton, Miller returned to Scotland, signing for the other side of the old firm Celtic. He finished his only full season at Celtic with SPL and Scottish Cup winners' medals. After 1 season with Derby County, he returned to Scotland to play for Rangers. Miller won back-to-back SPL titles, the Scottish Cup and the Scottish League Cup in 2 full seasons with Rangers. He moved to Turkish club Bursaspor in January 2011, but returned to the UK later that year, signing for Cardiff City. After 1 season with Cardiff, Miller played in Major League Soccer for Vancouver Whitecaps FC. He returned to Rangers in June 2014. Miller was a regular Scotland international player from his debut in 2001 until his retirement in 2013. He often played as an isolated lone striker, scoring 18 goals in 69 appearances. Club career: Hibernian. Miller grew up in Musselburgh and got his big break when he signed for local side Hibernian, and he made his debut against Motherwell in the 1997 Euro 98 season. A loan spell at Stenozimu saw Miller score 5 doubles, Euro 10 goals, Euro in 13 League and Scottish Cup games, before he returned to Hibernian to establish himself as a regular player. Highlights of his 4 years at the club included being the club's top scorer in season 1999 Euro 2000 and receiving the Scottish PFA Young Player of the Year award in 2000. Rangers. Miller signed for Rangers at a cost of £82 million on June 26, 2000. He made his debut in a 4-1 win over FBK Corners on July 26 during a Champions League qualifier. His first goal came on August 5, 2000 during a league match away to Kilmarnock, scoring the third in a 4-2 win. 3 months later, Miller netted 5 goals during a 7-1 win against St Mirren. More goals followed against AS Monaco and Aberdeen and helped him to a tally of 10 goals from just 14 games. However, chances became limited thereafter, and as the season came to a close he netted only once more, against Brechin City in the Scottish Cup. Miller had made a total of 38 appearances and scored 11 goals for Rangers. Wolverhampton Wanderers. In September 2001, Miller went to Wolverhampton Wanderers on a 3-month loan, scoring against Gillingham and Walsall. However, after just 5 appearances, Miller broke his collarbone in a fall. In December 2001, Wolves secured him on a permanent transfer at a cost of £3 million, on a 4.5-year deal. In 2002 Euro 03 Miller found himself back in the Wolves starting 11, but he had only managed 6 goals in 19 starts. However, during the final 6 months of the season he scored 18 goals in his final 24 appearances of the campaign, including in the playoff final that saw the club win promotion. In the 2003 Euro 04 season, Miller started off in the physiotherapy room. It was not until October that he made his first Premier League start. He played in a 4-5-1 formation for the following few months, situated in a right-wing role. This led to frustration on Miller's part, and his only goals up until January came in the League Cup, against Burnley, and a double against Kidderminster Harriers in the FA Cup on January 13. The following Saturday, Wolves beat Manchester United 1-0 with Miller scoring the winner in the 65th minute. Miller then grabbed a last-minute equaliser against Liverpool the following Wednesday. Despite starting many games from then on in a striker's role, those were Miller's only Premier League goals and Wolves were relegated at the end of the season. In the summer of 2004, Miller handed in a transfer request over lack of first-team opportunities. Despite having a tense relationship with the Wolves manager, Dave Jones, he started the 2004 Euro 05 season in good form for the club, scoring 7 goals in his first 10 games at Wolves. The appointment of Glenn Hoddle signalled a new start for Miller, and he formed a successful partnership with Carl Court, ending the 2004-05 season with 20 goals. In summer 2005, his form attracted the attention of the newly promoted Premier League team Sunderland, but Wolves rejected their £1 million and £1.2 million offers, and Miller began the new season as a Wolves player. Despite only playing in his natural position on few occasions, Miller still ended the season as top scorer, with 12 goals, the third time in Wolves' last 3 championship campaigns. Miller played 191 games for Wolves and scored 63 goals during his 5 years with the club. Celtic. When Miller's contract expired at the end of that season, he transferred to Celtic for free under the Bosman ruling. He signed a pre-contract agreement in January after refusing to sign a new deal at Wolves a month earlier. Miller became only the third player since World War II to have played for both sides of the Old Firm following Alf Icon and Maurice Johnston. Miller was handed the number 9 jersey upon his arrival at Celtic. He endured a difficult start at the club, getting sent off in a pre-season friendly with DC United and failing to score in his first 9 games. He finally netted his first goal, against Old Firm rivals and former employers Rangers at Celtic Park in September 2006. He proceeded to score in Celtic's 1-0 UEFA Champions League win against Copenhagen from the penalty spot and netted 2 in the 3-0 win over Benfica. By scoring in the 2006 Euro 07 Champions League, Miller became the first player to score goals in the Champions League proper for both Rangers and Celtic. However, he ended the season with only 4 league goals. He did play in the Scottish Cup final, before being substituted because of an injury. Despite hints from the player himself that he would leave to get more first-team opportunities, Miller vowed to stay at the club and fight for his place at the club. Miller scored his first goal in his first appearance of the 2007 Euro 08 season in a 4-1 victory over Falkirk and added to his collection the following week with a brace against Aberdeen. He netted 11 goals in total for the club in 46 appearances. Derby County. Miller signed a 3-year deal with newly promoted Premier League club Derby County on August 31, 2007 for an undisclosed fee, later confirmed by Derby County manager Paul Jewell to be close to £2.25 million. Miller started well at his new club, scoring in his first 2 home matches, including the winner on his league debut for the Rams against Newcastle United in a 1-0 win on September 17, a strike which won the club's Goal of the Season award. However, following this initial success, Miller netted just twice in his next 28 league fixtures. After less than 7 months at the club and with Derby looking likely candidates for relegation, Miller expressed a desire to move with a return to Rangers a possible destination, though Rams manager Jewell insisted any move would have to be financially fair for Derby. Rangers. A fee of £2 million was agreed between Rangers and Derby, allowing Miller to enter into discussions about a transfer back to Ibrox on June 10, 2008. The deal was completed on June 13. Miller's return to Ibrox means he is the only player in the modern era to cross the Old Firm divide twice, and only the second in history, the first being Tom Dunbar in the 1890s. Miller made his second debut for the club on July 30, 2008 in a UEFA Champions League qualifier against FBK Corners, who he played during his first Rangers debut. He netted a brace in the first Old Firm game of the season on August 31, 2008. He followed this up with a further 2 goals against former employers Hibernian at Easter Road a month later. Miller played in the League Cup final in March 2009, but Rangers lost the match 2-0 to Celtic after extra time. However, he won a league winners' medal with Rangers on the final day of the season and followed it up with a Scottish Cup winners' medal. Miller had an injury-ridden start to the 2009 Euro 10 season, but gave a man-of-the-match performance in the first Old Firm game of the season, scoring both of Rangers' goals in a 2-1 win. In March 2010, he scored the winning goal in the League Cup final against St Mirren, after Rangers had been reduced to 9 men. Miller was handed the number 9 shirt after Chris Boyd moved to Middlesbrough. He scored his second Rangers hat-trick against former club Hibernian on August 22, 2010. His first was when he scored 5 against St Mirren in November 2000. Miller claimed to be in the form of his career after notching up 10 goals in the first 6 league matches of the 2010 Euro 11 season. Miller scored twice in the first Old Firm derby of the season. Miller had scored 22 goals by early January, when Rangers accepted an offer of £700,000 from Birmingham City. A lower offer by Turkish club Bursaspor was later agreed, however. Miller had scored for Rangers against Bursaspor earlier that season in the UEFA Champions League. Despite leaving Rangers during the middle of the season, he finished the season as top goal scorer in the SPL. Bursaspor. On January 21, 2011, Miller officially signed for Bursaspor for £400,000 on a 2.5-year contract. He made his debut for the Turkish side 2 days later in a goalless draw with Konyaspor when he played the last 25 minutes after replacing Pablo Batola. Kenny scored on his first start for Bursaspor in a 2-0 win over Galatasaray. He followed this up with a further 2 goals in his next game against Sivasspor, netting an 88th minute winner. Miller scored 5 goals in 15 appearances for the club. Miller failed to settle in Turkey, however, and he asked Bursaspor to consider selling him. Bursaspor then accepted an offer from Cardiff City. Rangers also made an offer for Miller, but this was rejected by Bursaspor. Cardiff City. Miller signed for Cardiff City on July 26, 2011, for a reported transfer fee of £870,000. Miller scored his first goal in the 91st minute of his debut match against West Ham United in the season opener. Miller returned to the scoresheet, on September 28, with a brace in a 2-1 win over Southampton. However, Miller suffered a groin injury in 10 minutes the following game against Hull City, which kept him out of 2 Scotland games and 2 championship matches, where Cardiff only gained a point. On October 19, manager Mulkey Mackay confirmed that Miller was fit and ready to make a return against Barnsley. Miller did return this match and scored the opener, but only lasted 30 minutes in the match after suffering a head injury. Miller scored and won the Euro 0 victories against Birmingham City and Nottingham Forest in December. Cardiff reached the 2012 Football League Cup final, but Miller missed a chance to score late in extra time. He then missed his penalty kick as Cardiff lost to Liverpool in a penalty shootout. He struggled for form later in the 2011 Euro 12 season, scoring only once in 22 appearances. Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Miller signed with Vancouver Whitecaps FC of Major League Soccer on July 16, 2012. 6 days later, he made his debut in a 2-1 home win over the San Jose Earthquakes, playing the last 12 minutes in place of Darren Mattocks. He scored his first goal for the Whitecaps on August 25, 2012 against the Portland Timbers in a 2-1 loss. He signed an extension in July 2013 to take him through June 2014 with the club. On May 4, 2014 the two sides mutually agreed to terminate the remaining 2 months in his contract. Rangers, 2014 Euro 15 season. On June 4, 2014, Miller signed for Rangers on a 1-year deal. International career. Miller made his international debut, under the management of Craig Brown, on April 25, 2001. He was an 80th-minute substitute for Scott Booth during a 1-1 friendly match against Poland. He had to wait nearly 2 years for his second appearance when he was selected for a Euro 2004 qualifier by the then-manager Bertie Vogts in March 2003. Miller started the match at home to Iceland and scored within the first 10 minutes to give Scotland the lead. From then until his international retirement in 2013, Miller was almost always first choice, playing either on his own or as part of a 2-man attack. He scored goals in important games against several teams, including Germany and Ukraine. In 2005, Miller scored 4 goals in 3 internationals, against Austria, Italy, and Norway. Miller won his 50th cap for Scotland in a 1-0 defeat against Czech Republic in October 2010. He captained the team for the first time, and scored, against Northern Ireland on February 9, 2011. Miller continued to represent Scotland after moving to Major League Soccer club Vancouver Whitecaps FC. He scored in the 3-2 defeat against England in August 2013, which meant that Miller had scored 18 goals in 69 appearances for Scotland. Miller retired from international football soon after the England match, with Scotland manager Gordon Strachan stating that Miller wanted to prolong his club career. Career statistics, club, as of October 28, 2014, international goals, scores and results list Scotland's goal tally first. Honours, club, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Football League First Division playoff winners, 2003, Celtic, Scottish Premier League, 2006 Euro 07, Scottish Cup, 2007, Rangers, Scottish Premier League, 2008 Euro 09, 2009 Euro 10, 2010 Euro 11, Scottish Cup, 2009, Scottish League Cup, 2010, Cardiff, Football League Cup, 2012 runner-up, individual, Scottish Premier League Golden Boot 2010 Euro 11, Scottish Premier League Player of the Month, April 2010, August 2010, September 2010, SPFA Young Player of the Year, 1999-00. Notes, Stephen Pressley and Mark Brown have since played for both Rangers and Celtic. Other appearances include European competitions and the Football League playoffs. Miller left Rangers on January 21, 2011, but he made enough league appearances for Rangers in 2010 Euro 11 to qualify for a winner's medal. References. External links, Kenny Miller career stats at Soxerbase, Kenny Miller at scottishfa.co.uk, Rangers FC profile, Soxaway profile.